Hey there, it's Tank Girl, and today I'd like to unbox the HTC Droid Incredible for Verizon. So this is a very exciting device because it's essentially the successor to the awesome Nexus One. And as you know, I have a Nexus One, so I was very interested in getting my hands on this device, despite it being CDMA instead of GSM. So let's get started. Here's the phone in its box, and let me pull it out and give you a quick tour of the outside. So this is the phone. In the front here you have an optical trackpad instead of the trackball, and the 4 capacitive keys, and then the giant OLED screen and a nice little red speaker grill going on here. The screen is the same as the Nexus One, so 3.7 inches, 800 by 480 OLED capacitive. And so on the top here you have the headphone jack and the power button, and on this side there's really nothing like the Nexus One. On the bottom there's nothing, and on that side here you have the micro USB port and the volume rocker right here. Now what's interesting is the micro USB port on the Nexus One is down here at the bottom, so they relocated it here. And that's it for the front and sides. Now the back is rather different, and check out this funky industrial design. So I kind of like it. It's a little more square than the Nexus One, and I like that. Now the camera, let's focus on that for a second, pardon the pun. But it's interesting because this is an 8 megapixel camera, whereas on the Nexus One it's 5. And there's dual LED flash, whereas on the Nexus One it's a single LED flash. And you're going to say, big deal, you know, megapixels, schmegapixels. On a device like this, it shouldn't make a big difference. Well, let me illustrate something interesting. I haven't taken pictures yet. I haven't even started the phone, so I don't really know. But here's my Nexus One. And let's compare the camera lenses for 1 second. Now, here's on the Nexus One, you have the 5 megapixel single flash camera. Both are autofocus. Both, have macro and all those cool things. Now, notice the lens opening, the size of it. Now here's the Droid Incredible, dual LED, 8 megapixel. Now look at the size of the lens opening. Now compare the sizes of the lens opening. Let me give you a really good view there. Do you see how much bigger the lens opening is on the Droid Incredible? That tells me something. It tells me that it takes in more light, and it tells me that its low light performance is going to be higher. Now there's other variables here, the quality of the lens, the algorithms used, but I think this is going to rock as far as being a camera phone. You know, this Nexus One is a decent camera phone, and it's pretty much what you'd expect from a good quality, high-end, multimedia computer, as it were. But I think this is going to crank it up a notch. So I'm very excited about that. You know how much of a camera phone buff I am. So everything else is pretty much the same as the Nexus One. The Snapdragon processor is still there. The 1 GHz super fast and speedy processor. The SD card slot's still there under the battery door. Now, one difference is that this also has 8 GB of built-in storage, where the Nexus One doesn't have any built-in storage. So you have 8 GB to start with, and you can add SD card storage to expand it, and that's also pretty cool. The other huge difference is, let me start the phone up. You'll notice right away, this is running HTC's Sense UI on top of Android 2.1. So contrary to the Nexus One, which is running just a plain up Android 2.1, you'll see in a second, you have Sense on this, which is prettier and more intuitive. I'm a bit of a purist. I really do prefer the straight up Android UI, but I think for a lot of people, Sense UI is pretty awesome and will make probably a big difference. So still starting up here, but I'm going to show you in a second when they're both up and running. So that's not what I wanted. I wanted to actually click on the menu to show you that. So here we go, and here. So here they're both the menus, and they're essentially the same phones with slightly different UI, and of course some improvements on this. So if you've been waiting for a Verizon version of the CDMA version of the Nexus One, I say forget it. Even if Google sells it, you might be better off getting this just for the camera, the storage, the optical trackpad, which, you know, is different than the trackball and won't get gunked up and stuff. And I think the industrial design is actually more interesting too. I find the Nexus One a little too kind of rounded and googly, haha, pardon the pun. But other differences is you're going to say, well, how much thicker is it? Well, you know, it's not. There's really almost no difference. The camera is sticking out a little more, but that's a minor thing. If I actually pile them up like this, you'll notice that really it's the same thickness. So that's good. They're, you know, the same thickness, same footprint. Let me just lock the screens so that I don't accidentally tap stuff. Here you can compare them side by side. And of course, here's the back, side by side again. And the top, as you can see, no major difference in thickness. You're going to say it looks thicker, but really it's not. It really isn't. So I'm going to be playing with this quite thoroughly. I'm very excited about it. And I'll let you know how it fares and how I like it. I'm a bit mixed about Sense UI, as I mentioned, but that's my personal preference. So maybe this will be the phone to bring me over the edge and make me like Sense. I don't know. I have never used Sense UI on a phone of this caliber, performance-wise and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, this camera really is begging me to get into some serious photography. Just look at the size of that lens. Wow. For a camera phone, this is incredible. Ha, pardon the pun again. This is the speaker hole right here. So the mono speaker probably still is average. It's not that great on the Nexus One. Let me quickly show you what's in the box. Verizon sends review units without the headset, so it's kind of not really a good unboxing. You have the HTC USB charger, kind of small, but nothing to write home about, and a USB cable. And the end of it here is obviously micro USB. There you have it. That's it, really. The rest of it is just, you know, the paperwork, which hasn't been opened, and I'm really not that interested in looking at. So that's what's in the box. Here's the phone, and I'm very excited about this. I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned on my blog for a review, especially a review of the camera. Let me unlock this. Whee! Look at that screen. Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah. So I will remove this sticker, but I want to take pictures. Stay tuned. Check my blog in the next few days for an unboxing with a bunch of pictures and eventually a camera review. My name is Tankerl. My blog is Tankerl Mobile, tnkgrl.wordpress.com. Take a look and subscribe to my RSS feed. Cheers.